Good evening. This is Clarence Williams with another edition of Now and Then. Just today, we witnessed another scene in the Oval Office. And so I want to talk about that. I want to give you also some background because we're talking about now and then. So we're going to talk about apartheid. We need to talk about the South African government, and we want to talk about our government, the United States of America. We do know now that we are in a terror war. The whole world, kind of like back during Rome time with Caesar, the whole world is being taxed. And so people, countries, heads of states are coming the into Washington to negotiate a uh, new trade deal, new trade contract with the government of the United States of America. And the reason why they are doing that is because the whole world, in a sense, is so interdependent on the United States. It is a true fact that the United States is the largest GDP country in the world. And so, everyone, if you want to make business and you want to make money, you go where the money is. And so, you go with globalization and you try to enrich your country's GDP. You want to invite companies to come from other foreign countries and come and do business in your country. That's what we do. That helps the economy, the local economy in each one of these countries. And so we are doing deals and we are uh, promoting businesses in our countries, and we are exporting now goods and we are selling goods. We are importing, we are exporting. So we are doing business. And as long as you can get that dollar to go around, make it circulate, then chances are you're going to be pretty successful. You're going to have low uh, interest rates, and you're going to have low unemployment, and you're just going to be doing things good. Your stock market is going to go up. The businesses that is in your country is going to be prosperous, and that's the way it works. That's what it is all about. But when you have a dependency on one country, or the most of your dependency to do everything I just talked about, is all tied up in a dependency on one country, then you are really at the mercy of that one country. I spoke one time before saying that there are a lot of countries that could do what Donald Trump is doing, you know, putting tariffs on everything. There are a lot of countries that would do that, but they won't do that. They won't do that because that's not a wise decision. I mean, if you want to have a problem or you have a problem with another head of state, then you sit down and you talk and you negotiate. You don't just do a radical thing like Donald Trump did and then now invite everybody to come to him and then make statements like they're going to have to kiss my backside in order for me to do business with them. That's not really the art of the deal. Well, that's his art of the deal, but that's not the way things work. So now we have a South African president, Rambo Mosa, came in today, and he went into the Oval Office and he sat down with the president and he gave all kind of accolades on the president. That's diplomacy, and I've learned something about the character, the the disposition of this man. He's quiet spoken. You know, he's calm, cool, and collective. He is a diplomat. And he's in the office and he's doing what he's supposed to do because he know he has to get a good deal for the stability of his country. And so he's not going to go in there arguing with Donald Trump, making waves. He wants to appease him so that he can make a good deal. He said himself that 60% of what is imported into his country comes from the United States. 60% of what is imported. And then only 20% of what they make in South Africa is imported into the United States. That's really one-sided, really one-sided. And so he need this trade deal, you know, and I don't know what the tariff is now. I think it's still 10%. But even at that, I mean, it's hard to import 60% of your goods into the country when you have to pay 10% on those goods. And so he's here. I understand that. I got that. I'm down with that. And so Mama Rosa comes into the Oval Office. They change the schedule. The schedule was supposed to go somewhere else and then go to this and then go to that and then have a press conference. They went straight to the press conference. The question, why? Why? Give us a little bit of then. A little bit of then. Well, back in what's that, 68, when President Reagan was the president, and you had apartheid in South Africa, and Desmond Tutu, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu, was trying his best to go around to different countries and get them to put sanctions on the South Africa's government, apartheid government, to get them to stop treating their citizens the way that they were doing. And then Reagan said, "No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do a certain thing, the constructive engagement." That's what he called it, constructive engagement. And Desmond Tutu say, "No, that's not going to work. What you need to do is put sanctions on them because constructive engagement is not going to work." Finally, in 1986, Congress, the House and the Senate, overturned President Reagan's veto. They approved to put sanctions. President Reagan vetoed each one, the House and the Senate bill. And then they went back in 1968, they overrode that veto. Now, this is Democrats and Republicans. They overrode it because they figured and they said this is wrong. We're going to put sanctions on South Africa's apartheid regime because they need to stop doing what they were doing. Now, that could be called genocide because they really cracked down on the citizens of South Africa, the black people, you know, the black South Africans. But even when Nelson Mandela became president in 1994, Nelson Mandela, the first black president of South Africa, do you not know that they were calm? Nobody was running around killing white people. There was calm. Now, one of the things that was being said, if you do this and get rid of the white president and get rid of apartheid, it's going to be chaos in South Africa. And they're going to kill all the white people and they're going to be doing this. And nothing happened. It was calm. Nelson Mandela became the president, and everything was calm. Even now, 33 years later, this is where the problem is at. 33 years later, now, when Donald Trump is the president, most of the land is still owned by white farmers. So if things was going wrong and they were killing and all of the white people and everything, why is it that 33 years, 31 years later, they white people still own most of the land? And then now all of a sudden something is wrong and something have to change. And so Trump is getting rid of all of the black people and the brown people out of the country, because they came in illegally. But then now all of a sudden he has a problem with the white South Africans in South Africa. And he sent a plane over in someone else's country and got a load of them. I think it was about 43, and brought them over. And then now South Africa president Ramaphosa comes and sit down in the Oval Office in a scheduled change, going to an Oval Office that you're supposed to go somewhere else first, and then now, all of a sudden now you're sitting up in there, changing predigies and everything is going smoothly until a reporter asked about the comments that President Trump was accusing the president or his administration of doing genocides in South Africa. I want to know some things. I want to know, well, you do know that it was already planned for the film to be shown. That's how I know it was a setup, an ambush. I want to know who made that film. That's what I want to know. Who made the film? Where was the film made? That's what President Ramaphosa asked the question. Where was this made? You know, who made it? And then who wrote all of those articles that you're flipping through? I want to know who made them. Where did they come from? Who made all of those articles? Yeah. And then I also want to know, did you call the president of South Africa when you first found out that there was genocides going on in South Africa? Did you just pick up a phone and call him and say, hey, man, listen, I heard some stuff going on over in your country. Please, give me a heads up on that. What's going on with that? Did you do that? Or you just accepted what people were telling you, and then you jumped and put a plane in the air, went over there, got some people. You went on national television and say genocide is going on over there in South Africa, and everybody that want to come to the United States, you can get on the plane and come. That's what you did. But I want to know, did you call the president of South Africa? Did he give you permission to come into his country? Or did you just go? You see, when you are dependent, people that are independent can pretty much do to you what they want to do when they know that you are dependent. I want to know why did the schedule change? Did the president of South Africa just know you were coming? Now I want to ask the South Africa president some questions. I want to know, why did you not aggressively refute what President Trump was accusing your government of doing? I mean, you asked the question, where was this film made? But did you emphatically say, No, my administration is not killing people over in South Africa. Did you say that? The answer has to be no. I mean, I know you're laid back, I know you're diplomatic, but this man is attacking you. I saw his press conference afterwards, and he's a smooth talker. And I think he's very aware of this condition and where he was at and what's going on and what he has to accomplish for his country. I understand all of that. But sometimes even with the mild and the laid back and the soft voice, their words still has to be said. First, I believe he should have said, my country is not practicing genocide. And then when President Trump started equating what he's accusing him of, genocide, with apartheid, I would have strongly said, no, that's not apartheid. That's not what we experienced. He was alive, I'm pretty sure, during that time. I look at his age, and you're talking about 31 years. He was alive. He lived in that. And then for someone to come up and equate that with what black people were doing or living through, going through, during that time in South Africa, no, 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 no. So I want to know why you didn't forcefully, strongly, a little bit more forcefully resist that and go against that. I've seen you do it when you were not in the Oval Office. You had a statement that you were saying, and you said, no, my country is not practicing genocide. You can say that in the Oval Office. Now, someone said, well, maybe he didn't say it like that because he had already watched what Zelensky had done and what had happened to the president of Ukraine. And he did not want to go through that same thing. There's a certain thing called respect. And I think people that stand up for themselves will be respected more so than someone that does not. I'm not suggesting he did not stand up. I'm just suggesting that I believe he should have said something more. Now, he may have said it behind closed doors, or he may have counted the cost. And listening to his news press conference, I respect him. And I think that he is the right person for the job. But you're in front of the crowd, you're in front of the audience, and you have a president that uses any and everything to his advantage. And I just don't believe you can afford to allow him to do that. This is Clarence Williams. This is now, and this is then. Have yourself a great day. Thank you so much.